This is Basement Bracket Talk. Hey, welcome back to Basement Bracket Talk. I'm Chris Candela.
And I'm Steve DeBatetto, and man, was that a great first week of college basketball.
That was awesome.
I'm so happy, man. There were so many good games. I was up till 1 in the morning watching some of them. It was just such a good week.
Yeah, they were on all night pretty much. Well, not all night, till like 1. So you were able to watch all the West Coast ones.
Started at here on the East Coast.
Started at 6:30, which kind of sucks, but 6:30 is,
Yeah, that's like the new thing, like 6:30 start times. Like,
nah, 6:30 start times are bad.
yeah,
I know it's only like
it's like the new
minutes,
thing, though. I mean, we're about to go to one tonight. It's Thursday, and we're gonna go to the Gavitt tip-off games in a bit.
Shout out to Gavitt tip-off.
Yep. And we're going to see St. John's play Nebraska at Carnesecca Arena. So we're pretty excited to be part of it. We'll probably include some footage at the end of this video.
Yeah, we'll throw that in there. Hopefully St. John's boxes out.
Yeah, that would be good. You know, really got like no one over 6'7", except Tariq Owens. But it'll still be an exciting game. St. John's predicted an 8-point favorites.
They came out of 8-point favorites?
Yep. And now we're going to recap some of our highlight teams from the last week of college basketball.
Yeah, we each have one team that we personally think showed out the most this week, but we'll get to that later. And for now, we'll start off with the most mainstream game, Duke and Michigan State.
Yeah, Duke and Michigan State was such a good game, man. It was everything I expected it to be. It was close down the wire.
Yeah, it was very close. I was watching Florida State, so I really didn't watch much of this game, but I caught the end. But from everything I saw on like the box score, it was pretty crazy. I know Bagley was out.
Bagley got poked in the eye by his own teammate, which was, damn, that's something else.
When did that happen? Like how early on?
It happened pretty early in the game. Duke did play most of the game without Marvin Bagley, but it really didn't matter because though Michigan State was killing it on the boards, like Duke had two players that were really, really standing out to me. I mean, Gary Trent Jr. was amazing. But for me, it was Grayson Allen and Trayvon Duval. The combination of those two is going to be deadly for Duke this year. I mean, Grayson Allen can score the ball, and he's experienced. He said it himself. He's like, I played like about 90 more games than these other guys on this team.
I saw that on Scott Van Pelt.
Yeah, and the main difference maker for him to get all those open shots was Trayvon Duval finding him. Trayvon Duval has been averaging 10 assists a game so far. And big question for Duke was whether or not they're going to have that star point guard.
Yeah, they need them to be good because they don't have this is like the first Duke team that's not like guard reliant. Like they have they're more
bigs.
of a bigs team.
Yeah.
Like the Duke's usually a team that's going to shoot you out of the gym. No, this year it's really just two of them. Grayson, Duval, Gary Trent. Who else plays guard for them?
Yeah, well, those are like the big three. It's Gary Trent, like Trayvon Duval, and like Grayson Allen. I think are like the major keys for that. And like Grayson Allen, like had a career high game because of Trayvon Duval's assists, you could say. So that chemistry is going to be really, really interesting to see this team develop. They played very, very well against Michigan State. And if their forwards keep grabbing boards, sky's the limit.
Yeah. Or as Ross team will say, sky. It's more than the sky.
It's more than the
more than the sky's the limit.
More than the sky, man.
And then let's go to Michigan State.
Yeah, Michigan State did very well this
game. Yeah,
you
can't overreact about a loss in November, especially Michigan State. That's
kind of what happens.
Yeah, that's
like Michigan State just loses at least one of those games in November, and then they come back. You know,
if you're getting mad over
schedule.
A Tom Izzo team losing in November, like you don't watch college basketball. It's that simple. If you're like worried about that, like that's Michigan State. Like all they gotta do is get in the tournament. And you know what's going to happen once they get in the tournament.
Yeah, well, and they're going to get in the tournament with flying colors, obviously. They're definitely, of seeing all the Big Ten teams, they're my favorite to win the Big Ten, I think.
Yeah, same.
They're deep. And Cassius Winston, I thought, was very impressive.
Yeah, I love Cassius Winston. I loved him towards the end of last year, too. I love the way he plays. He had a sick pass. I was able to flip that off at the end of the game. You see that pass? He was driving the lane, and he kind of flicked it around the guy in Duke's back, and it went right to who was it? Threw it down.
I was watching at that part of the game. My favorite play from that game was Matt McQuaid's ball fake. He had Matt McQuaid wasn't really shooting the ball too much, which he should do more because that's his thing. But he's only really been averaging 5 points a game so far in these first two. But he had this sick ball fake and then went up for the dunk. Wasn't sure about the dunk, so he brought the ball back down, created contact, and got a layup.
Matty McQuaid.
And he was so hyped. He was on the floor beating his chest and everything. I loved it. But Michigan State, the thing that makes them so special is their depth at the forward
Yeah, they
position.
just bring in, like, that's the, I think Billis was saying. He was saying how, like, last year, like, they would bring out, like, Goins and, his name Langford, and they wouldn't be able to replace them. Now it's like they just keep bringing guys in and out, in and out, in and out.
Yeah, they got Duran Jackson
Gavin
coming
Schilling.
from Miles Bridges, Gavin Schilling, yes, Xavier Tillman, and Ben Carter. They also came off with some valuable minutes off the bench.
Ben Carter took an elbow to the face.
Yeah, and he drew that technical, which is, it's always nice when you got somebody who could draw a nice technical foul because, like,
he was on the ground.
They needed that.
He comes right back in.
Yeah.
He didn't even miss any time.
He was like, "Ow, I'm hurt," and then he was like, "Wait, I'm okay. We got the technical."
And there's a period in the second half where Bridges just took over.
That was brutal, but, like, you know, sometimes you got to pay for your stupidity because, like, that elbow, when you see that, it's like that was on purpose. Like, you don't just, like, do that on accident.
Yeah. But the time Bridges took over in the second half at one point.
Yeah, he did really, really well. Like, not as well as he's capable of playing, but he shot the three, like, pretty well, and he's only, like, tapped into, like, a little bit of his potential for this season. Like, he's gonna be outstanding. You'll see him grinding out in games, and it's gonna be quite phenomenal to see.
Yeah, he's gonna probably player of the year, I would say. I would say he's gonna be player of the year. And then let's get to my team that I think showed out the most this week, and they showed the most. Minnesota, the Golden Gophers.
They did win that game
at
Providence.
They went to Dunkin' Donuts Center. They were losing at halftime. They're just like, all right, screw it, and they just they win by 11.
Yeah, they won by double digits, but it was a convincing win, but it was a very close game. I mean, Providence at home at the Dunkin' Donuts Center.
It was a fun game.
And it's a good Providence team, but Jordan Murphy has been outstanding these first 3 games.
He's getting 29 and 15.
29 points,
games.
15 rebounds in 3 games. He is leading that team, and he went off against Providence, and that was like a big part of their comeback. But
he's a beast out. They have just so many guys who could beat you.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Minnesota is really at its core is a 6-man team. They're not that deep at each position. I mean, they got Reggie Lynch.
Yeah, but the 6 guys they have are so good. Like, how many teams could, like, even do that? That's what I mean. Like, that's why some teams have depth, but the guys they play, like, aren't that good.
But I think that's what the difference is going to be in the Big Ten this year. It's going to be Michigan State against Minnesota, and you're thinking, like, all right, well, Michigan State has at least forwards they could throw out onto the floor.
That's going to be
getting
foul
trouble.
Fun.
When John Murphy and Reggie Lynch get in...
Jordan Murphy,
my mistake. But when they get in foul trouble, who is it? You know, it's like everyone sub the top 6 is playing less than 11 minutes a game so far in these first few. So it's going to be interesting to see the Golden Gophers when they get in foul trouble. But if they can avoid that, which a lot of it comes to how well you play, how smart you play in the first, like, 10 minutes of the game. If they can avoid that, watch out for the Golden Gophers come March.
Yeah, and also...
They're going to be so good.
Another shout-out, Isaiah Washington.
Washington, yeah. I forgot.
He went on a stretch in the first half where he just... What do you got, like 6 straight points?
Yeah,
he's hitting step back shots.
Yeah, he just brings that New York.
Yeah, you just tell. You just watch the way he plays. You're like, all right, this guy's from New York.
Yeah, and he brings that out in the cold to Minnesota. And he's a big piece of that team this year. That's why that team has such good balance.
This is his 3rd game.
He's a talented freshman
15th game.
Yeah, because he's on a team where he is set up to thrive. You know, he's not competing for minutes. Like, he fits in with the offense well, gets along with the guys. Like, it's a good match.
Yeah, this team, if Michigan State's not going to win the Big Ten, it's going to be them, I think, or Purdue. Purdue could.
I think those are my top 3.
Yeah, I don't think there's a question about that. Yeah. I think it's those 3, and then it's a line. Like, sorry, Northwestern, but you're not even close. But yeah.
And let's move on to our 3rd M of the night.
3rd?
Let's talk about Missouri, man.
You want to talk about Missouri?
Yeah, let's talk about Missouri.
Okay. So what?
Well,
you're the Missouri guy.
They looked great against Iowa State and Wagner. I mean, I know it was Wagner, but they were killing Wagner. And the big difference, Michael Porter Jr. was not even playing for most of those. He played like a total of like 2 minutes or something. But like, the thing is, Jeremiah Tillman, another freshman center, was doing great. He plays like he's been playing for years on this Missouri team, which is such an interesting feature for me to to watch. I'm like, oh wow, Jeremiah Tillman. I didn't think he was gonna be that dude. I mean, since Michael Porter Jr. is not playing, he's stepping up, and they're still doing sensational.
Yeah, I mean, they really haven't played anyone yet, so I'm not gonna jump on the bandwagon. But like, they have a big game on Thursday, which is tonight, but the show's gonna be released on Friday, so get the results. So they're playing Utah. It's gonna be a fun game.
That should be.
Porter Jr. is not playing.
He's not.
Utah really isn't that good, but like it's a name.
Yeah, and they don't need Porter Jr. but they did beat Iowa State, and
but Iowa State's terrible.
I know they're not the same Iowa State team, but it is the first time they have gotten like a more than a 15-point loss in years, like 100 and something games or something. So this is like generally a very consistent Iowa State team, and
they lost everybody though.
Yeah, I agree with you. Missouri hasn't been tested yet, but I think between the Porters, like when Michael Porter comes back, he understands it's not all about him. There are 3 upperclassmen on this team that are still doing their part in leading this team and leading in scoring. Those upperclassmen, you got Jordan Barnett, Kevin Purrier, and Cassius Robertson.
Yeah, Cassius Robertson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've been leading the team in scoring, and they're getting like 17 and 14 a game, and they're getting more points than the freshmen are, but the freshmen are still having their opportunity to shine. And Michael Porter Jr. understands it's not all about him. Like, he believes in his teammates. He understands that this team as a cohesive unit is going to be successful if they all play as a team.
Yeah.
So I think that's why Missouri is your team to watch in the SEC. I mean, I definitely think Texas A&M can give them problems with their talent at the 5 spot, but I think they could beat Kentucky this year. I mean, Kentucky's not.
Texas A&M likes a team to beat in the SEC.
Yeah, but I think Texas A&M team to beat, maybe.
Missouri is sleeper.
Missouri is a team to watch.
I agree with that.
I really know nothing about Florida. I have not seen them play yet, and I think Kentucky has a lot of flaws that could be easily exploited by these top-tier teams in the SEC.
Yeah, without a doubt, after watching them. We'll talk about them later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Missouri's definitely a team to watch. They have all that young talent.
Mm-hmm.
They have the upperclassmen. I want to see more of them before I just start getting jerseys like he does. So we'll wait for that.
I've had this jersey for a while.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, I have.
You texted me Monday night. You're like, "Oh, Missouri, man, they're up 40 on Wagner." I'm like, "Dude, they're playing Wagner."
They were beating Wagner like into a grave. Like it was embarrassing. But I don't know. I understand you, but forget about Missouri. Let's move on to your highlight team of the week.
Well, my highlight team was Minnesota already, but
oh yeah,
I'm going to shout out to another team that I love, the Arizona State Sun Devils. I love this team, and I think they can come in fourth in the Pac-12 with Pac-12. They got Arizona, USC, Oregon, UCLA. I'm wearing the jersey, but I mean, like, I don't know. After this, UCLA almost lost last night to Central Arkansas.
Yeah, well,
they won in overtime. Like,
UCLA,
they lost. They lost a lot of guys. So I mean, like, the door's wide open for Arizona State. They got Trey Holder, they got Shannon Evans, they got Romello White, and they got
Jordan Lake, man.
It's not Jordan Lake.
It's not Jordan Lake.
It's Daquan Lake.
Daquan Lake.
Come on, man.
No, because it was Jordan Murphy, man. I'm mixing up my first names.
Daquan Lake.
I mean, well, yeah, you can't talk about Arizona State without talking about Lake.
Yeah, I know.
Daquan Lake.
Yeah, he played 15 minutes. He got 15 points, 6 rebounds. What's he playing, a video game? Trey Holder had 24 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Like, this team. They played San Diego State, too. San Diego State's going to be a pretty good team. San Diego State's got a lot of guys returning, and they just killed them. I think they were down in the first, like, going into halftime, too, and they killed them.
Yeah,
they got Romello White. I think what did he get? Like, I think he got 15 and 14 or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, the numbers were crazy for that game, and I think Arizona State is becoming better than anyone expected them, and it's not a team you want to see on your schedule because
I think they're going to make the tournament.
Like crazy.
They're going to make the tournament. Put that down right now. Arizona State's making the tournament.
Oh yeah, and they're in a conference that allows them to.
Yeah, they're in a perfect situation. They're going to make it. They're going to be really good.
I'm excited for
I saw them at the Barclays Center 2 years ago when they who they play against. They didn't play against Ben Simmons. He was in the tournament. But anyway, they lost. I forgot who they're playing, but they lost. And I remember watching Trey Holder. I think he had like 30 points or something. Like, this guy's gonna be a stud. This is a sophomore year. Now he's a senior and he's getting buckets.
Upperclassmen always do the work, man.
Upperclassmen. I think Shannon Evans is on the team too. I know Daquan Lake transferred.
Yeah, it's good. I've heard Daquan Lake before Arizona State, I thought.
Well, have you heard about Jordan Lake? Come on, man.
Jordan Lake sounds like a dope name too. I wouldn't be surprised if that's like his brother, like
Jordan Lake.
Jordan Lake.
I think Arizona State isn't such a good spot, and they're such a big team. But when they play St. John's, you're gonna be throwing stuff at the TV.
I mean, any team that can rebound. I feel like all the teams with good bigs are in the best situations this year because they ultimately control the team's destiny. If you're an under control big, like that gets boards get you possessions, and that possessions win you games. So
bigs are the best things to find.
Mm-hmm. That's a wrap for this section, and we're gonna wrap up another 5 teams in our next session. So
stay tuned. This is Basement Bracket Talk.